Welcome back. My name is Erica, and I want to invite you into my home this weekend. We are going to do some decluttering and organizing, a little bit of baking. We're going to make a fall simmer pot, and maybe even do a sewing project. So stay tuned and let's spend some time together. So we're gonna kick off the weekend with a yummy treat. I feel like every weekend I'm making some kind of treat, but this week we're doing spiced browned butter oatmeal cookies. This has become one of our very favorite cookies to make. I feel like that's usually our go-to dessert is some kind of cookie. So this recipe is on my blog. I'll have it linked down below, but really quickly we'll go over it. So first you're gonna brown the butter, and if you've never done that, it's actually really easy. Basically, you melt the butter on the stove top and let it keep going. It starts to melt and then it gets foamy. And then you're going to start to see little brown bits form at the bottom. And that is the goodness. That is what makes your cookies taste a little bit deeper in flavor. It almost has like a caramel flavor. You can see those brown bits coming up the bottom. So once the butter has been browned, you don't want it to go any farther than this. You just want it to be brown. Then we're going to let it just cool off a little bit, and then we're going to focus on the dry ingredients. So I've got all of them here. You're going to combine some flour, old-fashioned oats, brown sugar, baking soda, cinnamon, and pumpkin pie spice, and then a little bit of salt. And I'm just mixing that up. Typically, if I'm being honest, I don't do a separate bowl for the dry ingredients. I kind of just add them in. But because this one has, the oats and the flour, I combine them in a different bowl. Then once the butter has cooled down a little bit, that's when you're going to cream together that butter and your sugars. And I'm just using a whisk here. I find it just easiest to make everything in the saucepan. This is just a Dutch oven. But we're going to get that all mixed as best we can. And then we'll add in the eggs and some molasses and vanilla. And like I said, this recipe it's very rich and delicious. What we've been doing, you can obviously eat them by themselves. They're so good. But my family has requested some oatmeal cream pies, and I hadn't had an oatmeal cream pie in years. My kids actually got one for soccer, and so we all tried it, and they're okay, but these are so much better. So, so good. And you can customize the size too. I feel like the oatmeal cream pies that you can buy in the store, they seemed really small. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a person that buys those usually, but they seem really small. So these you can make any size you want, and you know the ingredients that are going in there. And yeah, while these aren't the healthiest thing, they're still really good, and it's nice to have as a treat. So anyway, we've got everything, all the wet ingredients combined. Now we're just going to slowly add in our dry ingredients, and then we'll bake them off. Like I said, this has been one of our go-tos, and it's really perfect for this time of year because it's got all of those spices in it, and it's really comforting and just absolutely delicious. We're going to bake these cookies at 375 degrees for about 6 to 8 minutes, and they come out so delicious. They are crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. Like I said, they are so good to make oatmeal cream pies out of. You can even make ice cream sandwiches. That recipe is linked down below. But now we're moving on to doing a little bit of sewing. Now, I have mentioned that I do have a second channel where I'm sharing more of behind the scenes of my Etsy shop, being a small business owner, and getting ready for craft markets. I was working on this. This is one of the items that I wanted to have displayed at my craft fairs, and I will be putting them up on Etsy. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I am going to be having tote bags. So we are working on this, and the inspiration behind these tote bags is actually to repurpose different items that I find secondhand. And linens are a weird thing to buy secondhand. However, all of these items, all of these tote bags that I'm making are made out of old tablecloths, old napkins, like decorative napkins, as well as curtains. So I feel like those are pretty safe. Obviously, I take them home, I sanitize them and wash them, and then they're good to go. And I love being able to upcycle and reuse items. And so I love these tote bags. I made several of them and I think they turned out great. So stay tuned. I will have those up on my Etsy shop very soon. And if you want to see more behind the scenes of what it takes to get ready for a craft fair and, um, you know, selling on Etsy, things like that, you can go ahead and head over to my second channel. I'm working on a couple videos to be posted over there, but there are some there now. So if you want to check that out, it is the Simple Home Place Co., and I will have that link down below. But I have really loved sewing. I actually taught myself how to sew in 2020. I think a lot of people picked up those kinds of different hobbies, but I actually started because there were no masks and everybody was in a panic about masks, and I wanted to be able to have some for my family and for my extended family and friends. So I borrowed my mom's sewing machine and I taught myself how to sew masks. And from there, it has just evolved as a hobby and as part of my business. And so I've been doing so much sewing lately and spending a lot of time on this particular weekend just really hitting it hard and doing all kinds of sewing. And honestly, I really do enjoy it. I'm somebody, like I think a lot of people are, that kind of enjoys that instant gratification. Obviously, I love to work with my hands and put in time and effort, but sewing to me compared to other crafts like crochet is more of an instant gratification because you get your final product a lot quicker. And so I really enjoy sewing. I do have tutorials up on my blog, not for tote bags, but others if that's something that you're interested in. I do have a few tutorials, so you can check those out if you are interested in that. But I really encourage you, if you have the time, to find something that brings you joy to do that is just for you and outside of your other duties. But yeah, I spent a lot of time over this last weekend just sewing, and it was really great. Now we're going to move on to creating a vibe so that we can get ready to do some cleaning and organizing. Some people will light a candle before they do some cleaning, but today I am doing a fall simmer pot, and it's so easy to put together. I just cut up some orange slices, and we've got cinnamon sticks and star anise and cloves. I'm also going to cut up an apple, and you just throw it in a pot of water, let it simmer, and you can keep refilling the water all day, and it makes your house smell amazing. So I just want to quickly highlight these knives because I did have a company reach out to me and they wanted to send me this knife set to review. I do have that full review on Amazon, so I'll link it down below if you're interested in getting new knives. I really love them. Either I didn't have great knives in the past, which is totally possible, or these are really great, and I think both is true actually, because these knives are really high quality in my opinion. They slice so easily through the oranges and the apples and anything that I have tried them with so far. They work really, really great. So if you're looking for a Christmas gift or a housewarming gift, those might be in your budget and might be great for someone in your family. Again, this isn't going to be a review. I do have that already on Amazon, and I'll link that down below for you to check out. But it's something I've really been loving, and it was perfect to test out on this simmer pot and all the ingredients. So isn't that so pretty?
I just love how it looks and it smells even better. So now that we've got everything in the water, I'm just gonna toss it on the stove and just put it on like low to medium heat and let it go. And trust me, if you've never done it, I highly recommend. It's so good. And you don't have to get fancy with the cinnamon sticks and, the spices like that. If you've got cinnamon powder, go ahead and throw that in. Any aromatic thing that you've got, any kind of citrus, fresh herbs, or even dried herbs, throw it all in there, and you can do so many different combinations. But I absolutely love this combination. I do have a blog post that goes over how to make this, but as you can see, it's super easy. So anyway, now that we've got that simmering on the stove, it is time to tackle my pantry. Now, it doesn't look that bad, but it was starting to drive me nuts. And I don't know about you, but when my space is cluttered, my mind is cluttered. And this is something that had been bothering me for a long time, and I decided I just needed to tackle it. This is on Sunday afternoon. My kids were outside playing, and it was just the perfect time to get it done. And so you can see that I've got a lot of vertical space in between these two shelves. And I've been in here before and I've made videos for you guys, but I had bought these crates. I was actually going to use them for my craft fairs, and I decided against it for the time being. But I got the thought that I could use those crates in here to utilize some of that vertical space. And so I first tackled the top and kind of thought about things and rearranged things and combined containers and all the stuff that you do when you're doing your pantry and reorganizing. I gave it a clean, and then it was time to rethink how I have everything. So I have these baskets in there that I just throw stuff in. And it was starting to become a little unruly, because like anytime I go shopping, I would have stuff just piled in those baskets. So I'm just using what I've got. I've got these crates. I got them at Joann's. They're like $10 a piece. That's, I think, the cheapest that I found. And then I had this little rack from the Dollar Tree. So I was able to utilize the top of the crates and then put a divide in between the one on the left and then the one on the right. I had another crate I've had for years and I kind of just shoved it in there. And so basically now I've got three little shelves, and that honestly, it feels so much more open now, and I feel like things are a little bit more organized. It's not perfect, and I probably could get more crates. I just didn't want to buy anything new, and I already had all of this on hand. But already, everything is just feeling so much better, to be honest. So if you too have that space in your home that's driving you absolutely nuts, this is your sign to go ahead and tackle it. I promise you, it probably won't take that long, and you will feel so much better afterwards.
Thank you so much for being here and spending some time with me this weekend. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did and you would like to see more videos like this, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. You can also turn on notifications to be notified every time I upload a new video. But again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.